Right, welcome back to the third section of the module 1. In this section, we're going to get started with the Azure Data Factory. We're going to start creating that data factory, which is going to be the foundation, and this is going to be the first hands-on session for our upcoming videos. So we're going to create data factory. We don't have any data factory at the moment, and we are going to prep for our copy data task as well by creating bunch of Azure blob storage. What we're going to do is in upcoming videos, we're going to move our data from one blob to another blob storage, and we're going to see how you could achieve the same using Azure Data Factory. So first thing first, we're going to create the Azure Data Factory because this is going to be the foundation for our upcoming hands-on session. I've already got my subscription selected. I'm going to create a new um, resource group is going to be your logical separation for all of the resources. I'm going to select the closest region, which is going to be the North Europe, and give a unique name to our Azure Data Factory. That's going to be code red uh, demo 01. There's going to be two version 1 and version 2. Version was 1 was more of a JSON template based deployment, wherein version 2 is the latest and the most used one. Once you've done that, you go to get configuration. I am going to save this for later because once we start creating our first task, which is going to be the copy task, we're going to configure the continuous integration and delivery in that section. For the network, I'm going to let it connect via the public endpoint so that it's easily accessible. In the advanced section, you can use the for the data encryption, you could use your own key rather than Azure providing their keys. So that's going to be more of a bring your own key concept. Then I'm going to give it a tag name, resource, going to be code red resource. It's going to be data factory, and it is going to validate whether all the configuration are provided correctly or not. I am going to hit create, and this is going to take few seconds to create the resource for us. On the bottom mid, you could see that there was a deployment template as well. That deployment template can be used as a JSON template, and you could create your Azure Data Factory and pipeline using the JSON template via ARM deployment, which is the conventional way of deploying Azure resources. All right, so the resource now has been created. If I go to the resource, what I see is my Azure Data Factory plane. On the left hand side, these are pretty generic Azure options which you get, the networking properties, logs. On the mid section, you would see something called as author and monitor. That's where we're going to click. One thing I would like to bring into the fact that Azure Data Factory is only available on Chrome at the moment. I tried it on Safari and that seems to have not been working, so make sure that if you're working on Mac OS and by default browser is Safari, sometimes you would like to use it on Chrome OS. So as soon as you hit the Azure Data Factory monitor section, you would see that it comes with 6 different options of creating the pipeline, data flows from a template, copy data, SSS, IS configuration, or set up your code repo. If you come a little below, you would see that there are a bunch of videos which comes up. You would see the famous Scott and Gaurav, who is one of the PM from Azure Data Factory, giving us a few of the helpful videos. These are really helpful videos because Azure Data Factory is still pretty new and Microsoft is really putting effort to make sure that whatever tasks they are doing, whatever development they are doing in the background, users, developers are updated with those developments. You could get a list of tutorials as well, whether it's introduction to Data Factory or transforming your data with Databricks on Data Factory. If you want to migrate your SSIS packages coming from on-premises world, you could do them as well. On the left hand side, you would see there are 4 options: home, author, monitor, and manage. Home is where we are at the moment. If you go to the author section, this is where all the magic happens. On the bottom of the screen, on the right at the middle of the screen, you see a blank canvas. This is where you create the visual representation of your data pipeline, whether you want to copy the data, whether you want to transform the data. So if you click on the plus sign, if you see the pipeline, you see that there are a bunch of options coming up right over here. If you want to copy your data, you just select the particular activity or task and put it right over here, and it's going to give you a visually representation that this is going to happen. And you could just we're going to discuss about them in our next upcoming videos. You could have multiple tasks as well, and then you see that once the copy data has been run, you want to go to the next step, which is the data explorer. And then you have multiple tasks available like Azure function, batch services, Databricks, HD Insight for MapReduce, Hive or Spark or streaming job. You've got the multiple iteration concepts as well, like the for each and if condition. All of these are beneficial when you don't want to write any custom code and just want to get started pretty quickly. So that was about the overview of what pipeline and what the canvas looks like. We are gonna get started with copying data in our upcoming video. That's gonna be the first demo. For that, we need bunch of resources on Azure. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to my Azure portal and I'm gonna type in storage, and I'm going to create bunch of storage accounts so that I can copy the data from one source to another destination. I'm going to keep the resource group as same, and I'm going to give the storage name as CodeRed source, and just hope that this name is available. I'm going to use the region as Europe because that's the closest of all the region. So I'm going to select North Europe. That's where my data factory is. I'm going to use the standard and I'm going to review and create. It's going to do a final validation and I'm going to hit on create. I'm going to create another storage account and going to click on create again. Click on create and follow the same steps again. I'm going to keep the resource group as same. The name is going to be CodeRed destination this time, and region I'm going to select is Europe, probably West Europe this time, so that we have some sort of latency. And I'm going to hit on review plus create, and you would see that within a few seconds, just like the source, this destination would be created as well. If you go to the storage account, you would see that the first storage account would slowly pop up right over here. This is going to take a few seconds and we should have the storage accounts popping up in a few seconds. Cool. We've got the source account created and we've just now got the destination as well. So we've got both the storage account created. In the next upcoming videos, we're going to automate the entire process and then see how you could we're going to create our first activity in a pipeline, in an Azure Data Factory pipeline, and see how this entire magic happens on a production environment. I hope this was informative. This is going to be the foundation of our upcoming hands-on session. So make sure you have the prerequisites set up so that we can get started. All right, I'll see you in a while. Thank you.